Welcome to A Talk with Armani.
I am your host, Armani Iman.
This is the show that takes you behind the scenes and in front of the screen of all different types of productions. Whether it's a feature film, a brand new TV show, or writing a book, I introduce you to those powerhouses that make those productions work. Make sure you stay tuned as I bring to you my first guest. Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. So you see, when I do my intro, I talk about introducing people from behind the scenes and in front of the screens of all different types of production. And I am fortunate to have a gentleman that is in all different types of production when it comes to film and television. Please help me welcome Mr. Tirrell Whittley. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
And you know, I'm always interested in hearing new things.
Sure.
I'm always interested in, you know, there's all kinds. You said you do sports as well as everything else. So I'm interested in how did you get to that? You know, and my audience, of course, is sitting there wondering, oh, okay, sports news and sports work. How does he do that? So tell us about it.
Sure. So some years ago, I've been in business now 16 years. The company is called Liquid Soul.
Okay.
We're based here in Atlanta. Again, we're an entertainment and sports agency, but it didn't start that way.
Okay.
Funny enough, some years ago, we actually started in radio. So we were a media company. As a matter of fact, we were a streaming company. We were the largest African-American owned streaming radio company in the nation. 2 million listeners. We cut a deal with XM Satellite Radio, and it was a great business, but it wasn't a profitable business.
Okay. I understand that.
This is back, you know, when the internet was just getting started. What we created was Pandora before Pandora even was in existence.
Got you.
And so from there, we kind of transformed a little bit, and the great thing is our client base really loved our marketing capabilities, and so we really jumped into marketing. And then around that time here in Atlanta, there was a movie that came out that was being shot called The Gospel.
Okay.
It was a faith-based film that some friends of mine, some frat brothers were producing, and they hired my company, Liquid Soul, to come on board to do the marketing.
Okay.
And we had done some other marketing for Motorola and for Denny's and a few other folks, so we weren't new to marketing, but I think that particular film opened up a door for us which we hadn't seen before.
Wow.
As you know, music was big in Atlanta in the 90s and in the early 2000s. Music was still here with LaFace, but film hadn't really taken off.
Right.
Well, with the film The Gospel, I think we got introduced, and then we cut over and started doing some work with Tyler Perry. We worked with the TBS on House of Pain and Meet the Browns.
Oh, wow.
And from there, I think we just caught a bug.
You just caught a bug and just say, I got bit by the show business bug.
Yeah. and you know, it's interesting because the tax credit came out. There was all of a sudden this newfound interest in film and television in this city.
Absolutely.
And it began to kind of gradually grow. Now, the great thing is we started kind of early in the process, and so we grew with it. And over the years, we've worked with a number of different studios, really all of the major studios. So from Sony to Disney to Fox, Universal, STX, Lionsgate, everything from the Hunger Game to the Lorax. We've done 30 #1 film campaigns.
Oh, wow. That has to be amazing for you.
It is.
When you sit back and you think about it.
It is. I mean, I think it's a wonderful thing. And the good thing is it started here. We never left Atlanta. And so many folks don't know that, you know, when they see advertisements or marketing engagements, that a lot of that originates right here.
Wow.
With my company. We launched the show Empire with Fox. So we worked on that. Power with Stars, and even Blackish with ABC.
Oh, wow.
So we've had a very, very, you know, wide and broad exposure when it comes to film and television over the years. And the great thing is that Atlanta, throughout that period, has consistently grown the industry. Where now, as you may have heard, we're the #1 production city in the country. It's right here in Atlanta.
Absolutely. And when we come back, because we have to take a short break, we're going to talk about a little bit more specifically about what exactly your company does.
Sure.
We'll be right back. You're watching A Talk with Armani. Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. I am sitting here with film producer entrepreneur extraordinaire, Mr. Tirrell Whittley. So you just went on about, before the break, about all the different campaigns you've been involved with, some Academy Award winning campaigns that you've been involved with, and how your company Liquid Soul is actually involved with a lot of different things. You were involved with Power, Empire, Blackish, all different types. What exactly does Liquid Soul do? What exactly does it do?
That's a great question, because many folks don't always get it, and they don't always know. But when a show comes out or a film gets produced, the next stage that it rolls into really is the marketing phase. And for us, many times folks will contact us and say, hey, Tirrell, we got this film. We think we really got something good, or we have a TV show called Power, or even Empire. And I remember when Empire was brought, they said, you know, it's kind of soap opera, nighttime, but it has great music elements. Has Taraji, it has Terrence, but help us think through the strategy.
Okay.
Who are we going to reach? How are we going to reach them?
Okay.
What partnerships can we bring to the table? And ultimately, how do we drive awareness? And then how do we create a cutover, which we call call to action, to really get people to tune in?
Okay.
Whether that's to tune in on air, on television, or to really drive them to the box office. So in that sense, we come to the table with a full strategy that usually encompasses publicity, digital, social media, promotions and events. We'll put together creative at times, and then we'll also come through with some delivery items to say, okay, how can we maximize this audience with partnerships?
Okay.
So we've brought folks together like Walmart and Red Tails.
Oh, wow.
A great campaign was Walmart and 42, the Jackie Robinson story.
Right, absolutely.
So those are broad, big-based partnerships where it allows us to reach, lots of audience, but ultimately convert them over to the box office.
So you're a hit maker.
That's the plan. That's what we try to do.
You know what I mean? So because you can have a fabulous idea, and you can create a fabulous show, and you can be sitting there with something hot. But if you don't have a hit maker, if you don't have a Tirrell Whittley on your team, it might just stay on the shelf.
Yeah.
Nobody will never know about it.
Well, the interesting thing is, and I tell people, whether it's good or bad, the sauce, the secret sauce is always in the marketing. We've taken bad films and done excellent marketing to still get good results.
Okay.
But of course, you can take a great product, add some dynamic marketing to reach your audience, and you get fantastic or dynamic results.
Exactly.
So a lot of times, what happens in the production world and with film and TV, folks concentrate so hard, they spend so much energy on developing the right script, getting the right actors, directing the right film. And the funny thing is there are millions, and I do mean millions, of great films with dynamic actors, great scenes, films that have been produced that never make it to the screen. They're sitting on the shelf, and a lot of that comes to the point that they don't have the right marketing, which ultimately doesn't give them the necessary distribution. So we really operate in that space, what they call the downstream capacity. Now the great thing now is I've transferred over to upstream. So upstream is really the production side of the house.
So, well, why would somebody not get a marketing company? Let's talk about it. People want to know, and we're here for it. Is it expensive? Like, is it as much as making a movie? So, like, I paid $100,000 to make this movie. I didn't got to turn around and give you $100,000. Like, is this what's going on with it? Like, tell me, is it? So it is expensive.
It is. Well,
he's like,
yeah. Well, it does cost. And I think it's fair to say that if you want good service, it should cost a good rate.
Okay.
So we are I think we're within the industry standards.
Okay.
But the reality of it, most folks spend so much time on the production and so much energy and so much resources that they never think what happens next. How do I make sure that I get into the marketing lane? So I would advise filmmakers to say, hey, if we're going to put together a budget, if this is $1 million film, we really probably should be looking at $2 million. Why? Because we really should. We should put $1 million off to the side to say we're going to be able to transition over into our marketing and have some distribution weight so that we can really get out the gate and not have this film sit in the can. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a one-to-one scenario where if I produce for $1 million that I need $1 million. That's not really the case. I mean, I would tell folks in general topics, in general general ratio is, hey, if I'm spending $1 million, or you probably at least need about between 25 to 50% of that budget, that production budget, reserved or set aside for marketing and what we call P&A, print and advertising.
Okay.
It at least gets you out the gate. It may not complete the cycle to get the movie out or the film out in a broad way, but at least gets you off the ground so that you're competitive and you're attractive to folks like a Fox or a Disney or a Universal. Otherwise, it's difficult to just get their attention.
Really? Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that because I'm sitting here like, oh, we're going to talk about a little bit more of that when we come back. We'll be right back. You're watching A Talk with Armani. Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. So if you're just joining us, then you're missing some valuable knowledge because I am sitting here with Mr. Tirrell Whittley, and he is a producer and as well as a business owner of an agency that helps put some of the biggest hits out there on the market. So you were saying that if you've got a film, or show, regardless of what it is. If you've got a product that you're trying to get to distribution, you're trying to get awareness, you want it to be a hit, you've got to reserve money for the marketing.
Absolutely.
I had a friend who told me I used to do concerts and I did old school concerts. So I was one of the first ones that bought KRS-One back when he was overseas. I bought Little Kim out right before she had her baby, all kinds of things. And the person that I got to do my promotion and marketing said, listen, you can't sell a secret.
That's right.
You cannot sell a secret. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't have a secret. What are you saying? But if not enough people know about this, then it's a secret.
Yeah.
So you can't sell a secret. So if somebody has a project, because we've got a lot of people that come on the show and they've got some books that they want to get out there or they're writing, because nobody's writing a book or producing a show just because, they want an audience. They want they want to see it. They want to get their money back at least. But we're saying, okay, yeah, you're putting together your budget. You saying that you want to spend this on your actors, this on your location, this on your this on your that. You need to have, you said anywhere from 25 to 50% for marketing.
Absolutely. And the worst part about it is that sometimes many independent filmmakers will come to my office and the first words out their mouth is, I don't have a lot of money. And so my response to them usually is, well, I'm not sure what you want me to do.
Right.
Because the reality of it is, and I hate to say it this way, that actually is not my problem.
Right.
But I can educate you for the next iteration or how you get out of this situation. Because you're right, you can't sell the secret. You can have all the best actors. You can have the best script. You got the best film. But honestly, if you don't have me or someone like me to say, okay, let me help get it to the masses, someone that knows the strategies to get it to the audience that you're trying to reach, and sit with a distributor and convince a distributor, not only do we have the audience, we can convert the audience and we can make money all the way around. Unfortunately, that particular project may end up dying on the shelf.
And you bring a great thought because your service is something, it's almost like an investment. Because you look at it like this, if I were, and I am a filmmaker and a producer and I've, we have some projects that's going on. So if I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, I want to get this done because at the end of the day, you want people to see it. And when I go and see someone like you and you're saying, Armani, we need to do this because this is the services that I'm going to offer. I think it's very important that people realize what it is exactly you do. Because when people think of marketing, they think about being on social media or some flyers or talking to some people. And it's like, oh, you want $50,000 for that? For what? I can get Aunt Becky and them to go and just start tweeting and Instagramming it and get the awareness out there. But in listening to your story, you're like, no, I'm going to actually get this done. I got a reputation to uphold, so I'm going to put some star power behind it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. There's a film that came out, it was this year. The film actually was not a great film. Had some decent stars, low budget film. Now, the guy that distributed the film put an enormous amount of money behind the marketing. I mean, the film might have been a $2 million film. He put $20 million behind the marketing.
Are you kidding
And he
me?
was smart enough to know that if I can market this film and make this one film a success, I will create a snowball effect of more and more films that come to my direction. They come my direction that are of a higher quality that I can put even more money. And so my point to any filmmaker is film, television is all about track record. You're only as good as your last project.
Absolutely.
And so the objective is to create enough momentum so that you're always in that peak top season or that top tier. So even for me as a marketer, I mean, we've done Marvel films, Lucas, I've worked with Lucas. If I'm gonna take on an independent project, the person I have to work with, they have to understand the caliber and the nature of business that we're getting into, which requires a certain level of investment. If they're not willing to make the investment, then I'm not sure why I should spend the time.
Well, what about the person that doesn't know? Like me, when you come in and you sit down, my first thing is I always ask anybody, how much is this going to cost? Not that I don't have the money, but I just need you to tell me how much it's going to cost. Now, the thing that I find a little frustrating, and maybe it's because I self-fund all the time, is when nobody can give me an answer. When they say, well, it could cost up to this. That to me is not an answer. Not any offense to you, but my thing is this. If you're telling me that it's going to cost $25,000 or $50,000, I need to know that so that what I don't do, I'm not going to waste any more of your time if it's not a number I can stand.
Right.
I can go on out there and skip to Malou and call Aunt Becky and them and ask them to tweet. Or I can say, you know what, I can do that on a plan in my head. Oh yeah, I can pull 25 from here and pull 25 from there because I know what to expect. I think that a lot of times people are afraid to ask that question, and that's why they'll just come in and say, well, I don't have very much money, because they're afraid of how much things cost, you know what I mean, just by the way it looks, Well,
I help folks. I mean, I do educate them. I don't have a problem. I'm very transparent. I don't have a problem sitting there and telling someone. And I'm a big believer that, listen, everyone has a dream. It's not my job to be a dream killer.
Right.
More than anything, it's my job to try to uplift that person's dream and at least give them a level of insight, more insight. They should leave with more insight than they came through the door with.
Okay.
So I do try to educate them and say, okay, here's what that really looks like, and here's how you can get it done based on what you have and or what you have access to.
Okay.
And even if someone said, hey, we can't afford to work with you, I'm fine with that. And more than, and usually I can also recommend, well, here's some people you might want to talk to and see if they can assist you. What is disappointing, what is actually very disappointing is when folks or when people want you to invest more in their dream than they're willing to invest in their own. And so what I try to tell people is, listen, you got to come to the table with something. If you come to the table with something, more than likely I may meet you even halfway to give you something, and it still is an investment. There's absolutely no guarantee. We can go out and do the most magnificent campaign. Quite frankly, your film still could dud.
Right.
So there's no real guarantees in this. So you still have to do your due diligence just as I have to do mine.
Right.
So it really is a partnership whenever we get into an engagement like that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on this show. And we want to, there's so many filmmakers, but it's not just about film. We've got people that are doing some television shows. We've got people that may decide, hey, I want to put my money into my web series because I believe it can be on television. How do we reach you? How do they get in contact? What do we do?
Sure. So you can go out to Liquid Soul or GoLiquidSoul.com. That's our website, or you could Google us at Liquid Soul. Our number is 404-892-2836. We're based right here in Atlanta. We've been here for 16 years. We're not going anywhere. I'm pretty easy to find. As long as folks are looking.
All right, no problem. And again, if you've got a dream of something that you want to make into bigger, you've got a web series, a movie. We want to do movies. But if you got a television, whatever it is, and you say I got a few bucks, more than a few bucks, you need to put it into your dream. You need to know the value of what it is you're doing. And you have to be willing to participate in your own rescue. That's very, very important. You cannot expect to have the baby and have somebody take care of the baby. If this is your baby, if you dreamed it up, if you want to make sure that it grows up to be exactly what you want it to be, then you have to nurture it. You have to put some money behind it. You have to put some time behind it. Because at the end of the day, it's your your dream. So you want to make sure that you do everything possible to make your dream come true. Thank you again for coming on the show.
I appreciate it.
We'll be right back. You're watching A Talk with Armani. Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. So I am checking in with my black tight fashion in a 20-day challenge where I'm going to wear a pair of black tights and we're going to try to pair it with different things. And the reason why we're doing this is to show that you don't need to have a lot of money to look good. A lot of people say, I don't have anything to wear. Well, now you can take something as simple as a pair of black tights and put a t-shirt on or something like that and put a shirt on it, whether it's an old boyfriend shirt that he left in his closet when you kicked him out, or it might be a big shirt that you wore when you lost all that weight. Whatever it is, you can put it on top of it and kind of change your look. So make sure you tune in next time so that you can see what I'm wearing with my black tights. Until next time, stay safe.